We are set for the biggest week in cruising in 15 months as Carnival and Royal Caribbean are about to set sail with paying passengers for the first time in 15 months from U.S. ports. It feels so good. At the same time that this is happening, Royal Caribbean is giving us some insight on what blended cruises will look like, meaning cruises with both vaccinated and unvaccinated passengers. Let's talk about everything right now on Island Time. Welcome back to Island Time. First off, thank all of you who joined us last night for our cruise live show. We enjoyed the company, the conversation, and the community. We will have another live show this week. I will let you know of that date probably tomorrow. We are looking forward to it. There is so much going on. What a big week for cruise lines across the United States as a Celebrity Edge took off on Saturday. I hope you got to see the live video. It was so awesome to see passengers come on board. It was awesome to see the ship sail. And I thought about all day yesterday was a sea day and all the different activities going on. I'm so happy for Celebrity, for Royal Caribbean International, and the greater cruise community. This week, there's even more eyes on the cruise world, media's eyes on the cruise world. Of course, all the cruise community and us islanders, we are right there watching things as they continue to unfold, really. Carnival and Royal Caribbean have plans to set sail this weekend, and we could not be more excited. We were supposed to be on the July 3rd cruise on the Vista with our kids, but we did not get the exemption. We were following that group so close to live through them, to see what it's going to look like, because we are for sure going to be on the Vista July the 24th. We're hoping to squeeze a cruise in before that if babysitters, of course, will allow. We'll see how it goes. But a big week for Carnival and Royal Caribbean, and there's still announcements. There's still some people who are upset with some different things going on, and it's fair game to do so. We know that cruising is going to take place. We know that cruising is going to be safe. We know that protocols are in place, but we're really finding out some of the intricate and fine details that frankly matter to some people and don't matter to others. One example is Camp Carnival. If you have children sailing in July and August, Camp Carnival is not going to be available to you for kids under 12 years old. This was not announced until over the weekend, and there are some people who are really upset about this decision. Carnival did not announce this decision until after the exemptions were shared with families, and families just assume that these kids clubs will be open, but it turns out they're not going to be if you're under 12. I know it's heartbreaking to some, but I promise you there will be people on board. A lot of you are traveling with people that will help. And after all, you are cruising. Another example of something that's a small detail but matters to some people. John Hill announced this morning that the fun times will not be left in your cabin. Now, I'm of the younger generation, but Amanda and I really did enjoy before going to bed, and sometimes that was at 9 o'clock p.m., sometimes it's at 2 a.m., but we would always, for 10 years, we've got the fun times that they leave in your cabin, because they always leave in your cabin and you get to see what's going on the next day. And we lay in bed together, we read what's going on, we circle what's going on, and we know what our day is going to look like. Now, you are going to be able to see what's happening the next day. You're just not going to see it on paper that's been left in your cabin. You can see via the Carnival Hub app, or if you still want the paper, they are going to have paper copies at guest services. It sounds like that this paper copy is going to be a one-pager, so it's going to be smaller than the whole pamphlet that we're used to receiving, but you can go to guest services at night and you can ask for the next day's fun times and you will receive that. But again, we're seeing a push toward the Carnival Hub app, which has some great features. This will be one of them. We also talked about the e-muster drill. We talked about it a lot last night. We talked about it last week. It's going to be exciting to see this take place in just days. We're going to see in just days how this e-muster drill changes the entire complexion of the embarkation day. And it's going to change the fun too, because you don't have to shut down the fun to go sit somewhere or stand somewhere. Instead, you know what you have to do. If not, look back at Friday's video and it will explain every single thing. This is going to be a bit of a bumpy ride. It is. It has been a turbulent ride to get where we're at. And we don't expect things just to be calm seas as we sail toward Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be bumpy. There will be bumps in the road even when you get to the port. And the port, who they're working on training their staff this week, I know, in Galveston, and they haven't in the weeks before, but I know they're amping up the training in Galveston and Miami this week. But there's going to be bumps in the road. Go with the flow, and remember, you are among the few thousand people cruising in the month of July. That is great news. Next, what I want to talk about, and this is breaking news, and I'll take a moment here. If you haven't subscribed to Island Time, I invite you to do so. We talk about the news that's going on in the cruise industry and how it impacts cruisers like you and me. It's what we do. We will amp up our ship tours. We will amp up our how-to videos. We've already done that. There are some cruising one-on-one videos out there right now. There will be a couple of new ones out there today as well. 10 things to do on embarkation day, 10 things not to do. It's going to be out there today. I know I mentioned it last week, but I had to do some fine editing there. It will be there today. Royal Caribbean, the Freedom of the Seas, who's been in the news lately because it had the test sailing, right? They had the test sailing from Miami. The CDC was on board. Everything looks good. Everything checks out. The protocols worked. The off-board experiences and shore experiences worked. The debarkation worked. I mean, everything looked good, and it's looking like the Freedom of the Seas will set sail July the 2nd from Miami. What great news. Now, what makes the Freedom of the Seas different is that the Freedom of the Seas by Royal Caribbean is not a mandatory 95% vaccine passenger cruise. Now, of the large majority of the cruise population on the Freedom of the Seas will be vaccinated. We don't know that final number yet, but we do know that a lot of those traveling on the Freedom of the Seas will be vaccinated. But unvaccinated guests are also invited to attend, and that's because the successful test sailing of the Freedom of the Seas. Royal Caribbean announced that there will be particular things that unvaccinated guests will not have access to. They're not second-class passengers. They're not being made a step down in any way. It is just, of course, for safety reasons and for protocols that the CDC has approved. And so hopefully this doesn't upset you. There's not really a vaccine discussion because we know what we have to do to cruise. Of course, you don't have to be vaccinated here, but here is what your cruise will look like. This is the first time we're seeing what a blended cruise will look like, okay? Vaccinated guests will receive a wristband showing that they are vaccinated. And again, you are volunteering your vaccine card. That's what Royal Caribbean is calling it. You are volunteering your card. You get a wristband. For those who are unvaccinated or choose to not disclose if they are, you can be vaccinated and not disclose it, okay? Royal Caribbean is going to assume that you're in this group. Then you will have a hole punched in your CPAS card, and you will be liable and confounded here to some of these different things we're going to talk about. This is only for July. Okay, so if you're watching this for the Freedom of the Seas out of Florida, only for July. Unvaccinated guests won't be able to access the chef's table, the hibachi and sushi restaurant, main dining on deck 3. Okay, deck 4 you can, deck 3 you cannot. The R bar, the schooner bar, the pub, the Viking Crown nightclub. If you're unvaccinated, you cannot go. The Solarium bar and pool, 70s part in Studio B, Crazy Quest, Red Party, art auctions you're going to miss if you miss the art auctions. And a big one here, the casino and casino bar. If you're unvaccinated, of course, you're not going to be able to go there in the month of July. What is the thing that these places have in common? Most of them are small spaces that have events and a large crowd flow. Royal Caribbean and their protocols don't want you there. The CDC, of course, has approved that. The test selling, that's what they tested. And so you're not going to be able to go to those areas for the month of July. It's going to be so interesting to see what this looks like in the months ahead. This is our first peek at it. Carnival, I think, will go the test selling route on some ships. Of course, they're hoping, as all cruise lines are, that the conditional sell order expires in October, or, of course, there's legal action in Florida. But if Carnival does go the test selling route per ship, because remember, this varies per ship. Vista, Breeze, Miracle, Mardi Gras, they're going the vaccine route. You can go ship by ship and say, let's say, I don't even want to name a ship because someone might say that I said it was a test selling. But if Carnival decided they want to make one of their ships a blended cruise, vaccinated and unvaccinated guests, they could by doing a simulated selling, and they could have a similar list like this of what unvaccinated guests could not do or attend. So it's going to be very, very interesting. It really is. At the same time, vaccinated guests on the Freedom of the Seas, if they go to a Royal Caribbean-owned port or island, they can explore freely. If they go to somewhere like Nassau, then they will have to do a tour through Royal Caribbean. It will be much more monitored. It's going to be interesting to see what this looks like in the weeks ahead, and especially the months ahead. All I know is I want to cruise. We are ready to cruise. I know you're ready to cruise. We can talk about these details. Some of them drop us down a level, and it upsets us a little bit. Some of them, when John Hill announced all the things that Carnival was going to have, that bumped us up a level. But let's just remember, we have our health, and we're going to cruise, and we're excited about that. We are so excited here at Island Time. We're growing our community, and it's all because of you. Keep a lookout for new content later on in the day today. Of course, we'll be back with you tomorrow for all the cruise news and everything that impacts cruising. And until then, we'll see you right here on Island Time.